Didn't work? We're good? We're live. Hey guys, Isaiah here at Sportsman Shop, and today I have a good buddy with me, Josh Bodene.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming out, Josh. Josh is an attorney that works with our store to set up Class 3 gun trusts with our customers.
Absolutely.
So we wanted to get you in here today because there's a lot of changes going on right now.
Yes.
And it's
absolutely.
happening now. So
Yes.
the 13th, it's soon. So what's going on with that?
Okay, so in case you've been living in Siberia, basically 1 week from today, so July 13th, or 1 week from tomorrow, July 13th, the ATF's new regulations are going into effect regarding gun trusts. And so specifically what that means is, if you're trying to do a Form 1 for making a firearm, say you want to make an SBR out of your long gun, or you're submitting a Form 4 for a transfer for, say, a suppressor, the new regulations are going to go into effect for all applications that are submitted on or after July 13th. So if you submit postmarked on or before July 12th, you're grandfathered in under the old regulations.
Okay, so that means for customers, they can set up a gun trust now still.
Correct.
And avoid those new regulations.
Absolutely. So what you would do is either contact the Sportsman Shop, contact me. I don't have your number memorized, but mine is 717-669-0313. That's my direct number. Give me a call. I can turn them around very quickly once I get hired, once I get the information. I can turn it around within 1 business day. Frankly, since we're coming down to the line, I'll make it happen within the same day. You know, give me a call in the morning. But just to clarify, so for new applications, to get them in on or before the 12th, then the old regulations apply. I want to make sure I mention though, if in the future then you do another application, say in August or whatever, then the new regulations are going to apply.
Whether you have a trust or not. You're
Correct.
going by the new regulations.
That's correct.
So do we know what exactly the new regulations are that they're going to be doing?
So the highlights are the Chief Law Enforcement Officer sign-off. This is actually not a bad change. It changes from a sign-off to notification. So you're simply notifying your Chief Law Enforcement Officer, and that's going to be the same for individuals and for trusts. The FBI fingerprint, photograph, photograph and the fingerprint, those now become required for trustees of a trust in the same way that they always were in the past for individuals. So,
and did I hear something about every 2 years if you're purchasing items under a trust?
Yeah, so that's kind of a questionable subject at this point. The original proposal, the 41P you might have heard, the wording strongly suggested, well, in my opinion, the wording suggested that if you submitted multiple applications within a 2-year period under the new regulations, then you would not have to submit the copy of the trust multiple times, as long as there were no other changes. That's not really a big deal though, but when you look at the actual wording of the new proposed rule in the regulations, I think, and other attorneys I think agree with me, that not only do you not have to submit the trust, but you also don't have to undergo the fingerprinting, the photographing, all that stuff, as long as your multiple applications are within 2 years of each other and there have been no changes. So that's good news. However, my understanding is that the ATF is looking to interpret that in a more narrow fashion.
Of course.
And so, frankly, we're not really going to know what that looks like until folks try to do that and we see what their response is.
Yeah.
So
at this point, is it still a big benefit? I mean, obviously it's a benefit right now before the 13th.
Yeah.
To get your papers filed, get your suppressors, SBRs, whatever you're going to be doing, get that stuff going a while.
Absolutely.
But is there still, I guess my question, is there a benefit, like I'm trying to do a trust, is there a benefit for me to still do that now with all these new regulations?
Yeah, so the big benefit obviously is if you get it in within the next week, you avoid all that nonsense. You just do the trust document, no fingerprinting, no photographing, all that. However, your question going to afterwards, if you do it afterwards, there's a lot of benefits that a lot of people don't talk about that have always been present, at least in the trust that I do, and it will still be present despite the change of regulations next week. You get the creditor protection for the assets, protection from creditors. You get the ease of passing them down through the generations, succession. In case of incapacity, death, divorce, all those kind of life events, the trust can address those events in a way that simply having it registered in your own name after the regulations change won't address those concerns. So there's a lot of benefits that a lot of people haven't necessarily highlighted in the past that will still be present and really can be part of an estate planning, really comprehensive plan if you're a firearms owner thinking of having this.
Well, there you go, guys. So you're hearing that. I mean, now's the time to do it. Before the 13th, stop on into Sportsman Shop. We do have a bunch of suppressors here that you can get set up with, depending on what kind of caliber you plan to put the suppressor on. Or if you're looking for an SBR, come on, stop on in, and we can help you out with that. And then Josh will send them your way to get the gun trust set up.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for having me.
Yep.